When I say lifting, you say learning. Lifting. Learning. Lifting. Learning. When I say lifting, you say learning. Lifting. Learning. Lifting. Learning. Lifting. Learning. Lifting. Learning.
We want a fair go. What do we want? Fair go. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Fair go. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Fair go. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Fair go. When do we want it? Now. Well done, everyone. You're awesome.
Fair go? Okay, we've still got 15 minutes for people to trickle in. Don't just kidding, they're coming. I've got another chance. Say it loud, say it proud. Hobart is a union town. Say it loud, say it proud. Hobart is a union town. Say it loud, say it proud. Hobart is a union town. Say it loud, say it proud. Hobart is a union town. Yeah. Shout out to the teacher thugs in the crowd that I can see there. Look at you, teachers, support staff, health workers, cleaners. You thugs, all of you. Okay, fill it in. Make sure you fill it in. You can't see it from up here, but we need you to sort of shift this way. So we've got a heavy load over here, so start shifting across. Come on. The workers, united, will never be defeated. 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 I've got some very excited hatchery members in the front. To our friends running the sound, are you able to turn the background music off, please? Do you think just about all of us are here? Yes! Never late for a party. Never late for a union party, friends and comrades. All right. No one has ever held an umbrella for me before either. It feels very organized, but anyway. I think we call it Sunsafe. Look, welcome everyone to our Stop Work Action. My name is Jessica Monday. I'm the Secretary of Unions Tasmania, and I have to say, it's not the reaction my children give me at home, so I'll come to these things more often. And I have to say it is an absolute privilege to be a leader in the trade union movement today. Look at you all, you look amazing. So I am your MC today. It's my job to make things run smoothly and on time, so I don't really know why they gave the job to a uni official. But before we begin, I would like to warmly welcome Auntie Brenda Hodge to deliver a welcome to country.
Thank you, Jess. What a wonderful crowd, thank you. Ya, Pulingana, Miladina, Mana, Mapali too. Welcome to all of you here on our land. I'm a proud descendant of Manalagena and the Parabeni people from Tipukana in northeastern Tasmania. I show respect to my elders, past, present and emerging, and to the many Aboriginal people who did not make elder status. I respectfully acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land on which we gather today, the Muanina people, who belong to the oldest continuing culture in the world and who roamed this land for more than 60,000 years. Nipaluna, Hobart was their country. They called our mountain Kunani and our river Teen Tumili Minanya. It is a privilege to stand on their country. Muanina Laikara, Kipli Mulaka. It was here that the Muanina hunted for food. Miladinata Nayapi Nara Mapali. Miladinata Krakapaka Nara Mapali. They gave birth on country and died on country. Lumi Ningimpi Mana Mapali, Nangampi Mana Mapali. Lurina Warranta Mapaya, Winina Nara Mapali. Our ancestors are still here. We feel them all around us. Warranta Ninina Nara Mapali, Paywuta Niakara. They give us our dreaming. Warranta Takara, Miladina Nara Mapali Takara. We walk where they once walked. Miladina Nika, this is our country. Miladina Mana, this country is us. Warranta Palawa Miladina Nika, we are this country. With pride and on behalf of our ancestors, I welcome each of you to Aboriginal land, Nipaluna, Hobart, Lutruwita, Tasmania. Thank you to all those who care for our children in schools around the state, and to all those who care and support the Tasmanian community in all public sectors. You are very much appreciated. Nairi Ninatu, thank you.
Thank you so much, Auntie Brenda, for your warm welcome. And can I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land and note that we stand on land that was never ceded, and give a commitment from the trade union movement to stand beside the Tasmanian Aboriginal community and First Nations peoples across this country as we seek for constitutional recognition and an end to racism. Part of my job was to warm you up, and I feel like I'm very redundant right now. Look, I'm joined up here by the leaders of your union, by all of you. It is an incredible privilege, and I want to make some noise because there are lots of community members that are here today supporting you, but there are the majority of you from 5 unions who have stopped work and withdrawn their labour. So can I hear it for the Education Union? The Community and Public Sector Union? The Health and Community Services Union? The United Workers Union? And the United Firefighters Union? There are literally thousands and thousands. People make this, there really is 10,000 people here for our journalist friends, there really is. But there are literally thousands of workers across this state. They're tuning into our live stream, they're at regional locations, that are standing together in solidarity and standing up for the public services that our entire community relies on every day, whether they realise it or not. I'm the proud parent of 2 kids in a wonderful public school that is staffed by amazing people but is woefully under-resourced.
I had my 3 children in midwife-led care in the Royal Hobart Hospital. And a couple of weeks ago, and I bet I'm not the only one in this crowd, I went to Service Tasmania to change my driver's licence because I got caught up in the Optus hack. And the reason that I mention that is because public services touch all of our lives every day. So I want to acknowledge every single public sector worker, whether you are a frontline worker or whether you are quietly working away in the background, not getting the kudos you deserve, because you are all equally valuable to us. So we all know why we're here today, and we've got a lot of speakers to talk to you about the issues where they come from. But we are here because there is a deep and growing crisis in our public sector. We are here because there are vacancies we cannot fill. There are public servants leaving Tasmania to get better pay and conditions elsewhere. Shame. The cost of living is smashing all of us, and we don't deserve to be paid less than mainlanders just because we live in Tasmania. Taking strike action is never easy. It's not done on a whim. You know, we've asked nicely lots of times, more times, some of you have been in those bargaining meetings. We've asked nicely lots of times. We've put forward evidence, we've made reasonable arguments, the community are supporting us, and the government hasn't listened. So I want to say again, congratulations, well done, because if asking nicely doesn't cut it, this is what we have to do. So, this is a rally, not a team meeting, right? So we're going to be really loud. And the Premier hasn't been listening to us so far, but we need to make sure he hears us in that place. So, hey Rockcliffe, listen up. Tassie workers are standing up. Hey Rockcliffe, listen up. Tassie workers are standing up. Hey Rockcliffe, listen up. Tassie workers are standing up. Hey Rockcliffe, listen up. Tassie workers are standing up. Hey Rockcliffe, listen up. Tassie workers are standing up. Woo! Right. Someone asked me last week if I had a wet weather plan for the rally, because it was, 12 degrees, and I was like, nah, we won't need it. Confidence of a Tasmanian, because we don't. So, I think you're warmed up now. Very warm. There is sunscreen. I was supposed to do housekeeping. There is sunscreen at the front here. There is sunscreen at the back. And if you need a first aid officer, because you're so Tasmanian, you get heat exhaustion in this weather, the first aid officer is by the red car over there. But I would love to welcome our first 2 speakers. Can I please have Marissa and Freya from the Australian Education Union to come on up?
Hello everyone, I'm Marissa and I'm a teacher assistant, and I'm not going to apologise about that anymore. 677. When I'm stood down without pay in a few weeks, I will be on government payment. $677 per fortnight for me to live on, for a mortgage, for food, for phone, for electricity, for petrol, unexpected expenses, and I have no other income coming in as it's just me and my 2 growing children. 13 years I have been doing it like this, and I have had enough. I'm running on empty. I'm good at my job. No, I'm great at my job. I care. I have a heart. I see the students and I give every day. I know I bring so much to my workplace. I bring life, I bring intelligence, I bring experience, humour, and I bring a critical thinking. We are skilled. We have backbone. No more just photocopying and hanging artwork. We have become specialised. And yet, we are still looked down on. We are at times dumbed down, and we are not valued for what we bring and what we do. And that's why I say with a heavy heart that I've decided it's time that I find another calling, to find a job elsewhere. Because I don't know what or where I will go or what I will do, but I just cannot go on like this and risk losing my house and my family to suffer. Our students deserve more than what I can give now. Their future needs heart, and I'm losing mine in this current state of the job. And once we lose heart, we become just a number, and I refuse to be that. I don't know who I am in this job anymore as a teacher assistant. I've cleaned up vomit, yet I'm not a cleaner. I've cleaned up a bloodied knee and tended to a concussion, yet I'm not a nurse. I've de-escalated a fight, yet I'm not a police officer. I've wiped a few bottoms, yet I'm not their parent. I've comforted their tears, yet I'm not their counsellor. I've planned and taken a class, yet I'm not a teacher. I've specialised in areas, yet I'm not a specialist. I've been bitten, I've been kicked, I've been scratched and spat on and screamed at. I've given up a recess to stick with a student whose mother recently passed away, and we chatted about her weekend with her grandmother making coconut balls. She needed a moment of connection, a heart space, and I gave that to her because I care. And I've comforted teachers who have said, I can't take this anymore, enough is enough. And for the powers that be, standing me down every holidays and underpaying me, my shoes may not be shiny like yours. My shoes are dusty and dirty, and at times I might look dishevelled and aged, but I'm on the ground every day running with the students. Try walking in my dusty shoes, I say to the powers that be. I love my role as a teacher assistant, but passion does not pay my bills. So, to all your teachers' assistants out there, you are amazing, you are intelligent, you are the backbone, you make a difference, you are the givers. And it's time it was given back to you. You need a fair go. United we stand. We are too important to be lost in the system. Thank you.
G'day. My name's Freya. This is my 5th year in education. I started my teaching career up in the north at Scottsdale High School, and I'm now an advanced skills teacher at Kingston High, where I manage the grade 9 team and manage grade 9 wellbeing. When I think about being an AST and a teacher at Kingston, the first thing I feel is lucky. I feel really lucky to work alongside the caring, determined and intelligent people that I do, and I feel like it's a privilege to work in a profession that has so much potential to help people. But the next thing I feel is angry. And I feel angry because I watch my teams of teachers rise to every single challenge that we give them. I watch them respond with endless patience and care for students whose behaviours can be pretty confronting. And still, the government stands by as educators burn out in droves because our education system is built on the generosity and unpaid labour of school staff. There is in Australia what I think of as an abuse of caring professions. There's an abuse of the will, the skill and the moral imperative that each of us bring to work every single day in professions that exist to serve others. I think the government knows that we care so much about the people we serve that they can push us to the absolute edge with pay and with conditions. Well, that edge has been found because I am seeing more and more educators feel like they have got no option but to leave or reduce their loads just to preserve their own wellbeing, and ever fewer are signing up to replace them. In my role, I've got to reduce teaching load in parts that I can deal with the well-being of those students, and I know I don't need to spell out to you the complex things that a mix of trauma, learning difficulties, COVID, social struggles and mental health can do to our kids and the important work we've got to do there. This week, a colleague of mine sat down with a student who was being sent out of class at least once a day. They had a deep conversation over the better part of a block that left her feeling seen and understood by her teachers in a way that rewrote her relationship to school. But how often do any of us actually have 45 minutes in one block to dedicate to each kid? Never. Next to never in my days, and I've got release time to give it a go. Too often we are so overstretched that all we can do is try to push kids down a behaviour pathway and move on to triaging the next thing. Much worse than my timetable though is the support staff, the school psychologists and social workers who are working at a ratio of 1 to 800 or 900 students. 8 or 900! The Australian Psychological Peak Body recommends 1 to 500 as a minimum to address the level of need in Australia. Hey, even at grade 9, we are still enlisting countless learning assessments for disabilities, and I am constantly referring students onto our support staff who literally cannot see every kid on their books because that ratio is a joke and it does nothing to account for the needs of young people or the time our support staff spend triaging mental health crises. The government reckons they're trying to hire more people to fill those positions. I wonder why it's so difficult. Maybe because we give them untenable caseloads and pay them terribly. Young people's issues are complex, but they're not impossible. We just want the time and resources to actually address them. This is, I think, the key thing missing in the government's understanding of what we're asking for. Workload solutions doesn't mean we want to work less hard. It means we want the time to do the right work so that every child has access to the support and the learning that they deserve. Now, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't say no to keeping up with inflation so that they're not actually getting paid less. But the jury's in. It's not about the money. We need solutions to the workplace conditions. The caveat to that, of course, is to our comrades in TA, librarian and EFA positions whose pay conditions, including being stood down for 12 weeks a year, are unconscionable. At the end of the day, the conditions that we work in are the conditions that our kids learn in. And at the moment, there is no way that we can achieve a level of equity where every child is guaranteed success. I'm left to assume that the government just does not get it, because I cannot imagine anyone with a genuinely informed view of our education system rejecting the demands of our union today. In fact, I can't imagine them not going even further. So I'd like to end today with an offer and an invite. I'd like to invite Premier Rockcliffe to come and observe the reality of our work. I work in the Seapod building at number 6 Kingston View Drive, and he is welcome to come and shadow me for a day, or any member of my expert team, and meet some of the beautiful and complex children that our system is failing. Thank you.
Wow, how amazing. Jeremy, are you there? Will you accept that offer? Is Jeremy there? Jeremy's at the front here, if you haven't seen the cutout of Jeremy. I have, of course, seen members of the Labor team, the Greens. I'm pretty sure I saw Mike Gaffney. I'm going to miss people, but I don't think we'd miss Jeremy. And my challenge is very similar to our comrades from the AU. If you haven't found time to listen to this, we're live streaming it for you. You can catch up later on, and our phones are on for you to call any of us anytime to talk about how we can fix those issues. And I'd ask Jeremy, if you were stood down for that many months in a year, how would you survive? He wouldn't, even on the income that he's on. So, the next speaker we have is Robin O'Brien from the United Firefighters Union. When we are in danger and we are running away from danger, they run towards it. So let's make Robin very welcome.
Thank you, Jess. This is a wonderful, wonderful sight to see. I joined the Tasmanian Fire Service in 2014, and on the same day I did that, I joined the United Firefighters Union. I'm a proud and passionate member of that union. I don't want to be up here speaking, I don't like it. But I've chosen to do it today for two reasons. I hate a liar, and I hate a bully, and that place is full of them. We need to call them out for what they are. I've stood here before with the United Firefighters Union, and I want to say a big thank you to every union who's come down and supported us without even asking. You've been behind our backs every time, and I say thank you. The last 3 years have been arduous for all of us. But for some in the health and education sectors, I cannot imagine the hardships you'll face. But unlike the government who have changed Premier and Ministers what seems like on a monthly basis and folded, you have held the line. You have turned up day after day, working under conditions that you were never meant to be part of your job description. The reason Tasmania survived the last 3 years is not because of what's in there, it's because of you. And I ask, where's the light at the end of the tunnel? I tell you there's not. There is not when you have a bully and a liar in charge. This government's first step was to cap pay rises without even any reflection on inflation or cost of living. The next step is to bully you into accepting the worst pay offers I've ever seen. And threatening us with no back pay. That is not negotiation, that is intimidation. And if they think they can roll us, they have another thing coming. In my profession, I am the lowest paid firefighter in Australia. If I accept that pay offer has just been made, I still am the lowest paid firefighter in Australia. Why should I ask for more pay and better working conditions? I'll give you a few reasons why. After 5 years of doing my job, my risk of catching certain cancers double, and every year after increases. I work shift work year round, year out. Christmas, birthdays, holidays, the lot.
Thank you.
I have higher rates of injuries and mental health disorders due to the work we face. Workloads and call-outs continue to increase. Our training and development has failed. It is missed and ultimately never caught up. The Tasmanian population has risen by 80,000 people in the last 30 years. We have no more firefighters than we did 30 years ago. Areas like Sorrel and Kingborough have no career operational staff to protect them. This government has no plans to put career operations into those areas despite a chronic need for them. This government also thinks I'm going to work as a firefighter in the front line for another 25 years. We're asking for opportunity, for better superannuation, lateral transfer into different jobs. They offer none of those things. I'll end up being pushed out before my time, injured and broken, and with not enough money to live on, because of the conditions I work under. This government has no interest in the future of this state. The only thing they're interested in is big shiny football stadiums. I'm disgusted when they seem to hand out the money to big corporations but won't even turn a cent to us. This is a persistent neglect in us and the future of Tasmania and our children. These problems that I face and the ones you face in your jobs are unacceptable. I understand this government will delay and prolong negotiations until fatigue sets in. Do not waver, remain unified. Remember, if they don't turn up to work, nothing happens. But if you don't turn up, your children don't get educated. You do not get healthcare. You do not get transport. You do not get paramedics. Your house burns to the ground. Keep fighting and we will win. Thank you for your support.
Thank you so much. What do we want to say? Go. What do we want? When do we want it? Now. What do we want? When do we want it? Now. I wonder how long this government is going to stand by and watch worker after worker, profession after profession, get up and say they are the lowest paid in the country before they stop scratching their heads and wondering why people don't want to come and work here. Our next speaker probably doesn't need much of an introduction. I'm sure you've seen him passionately standing up for health workers across Tasmania for many years. I'd like to invite HACSU State Secretary Tim Jacobson to talk today.
Thanks, Jess. This is Aboriginal land. It was stolen, it was never ceded, and we all respect them. There's an old saying that goes something like this: the more that things change, the more they stay the same. Most of you remember 2018. We stood in this exact place, stood together, united, for the same cause, and here we are again. But you know, things actually have changed. They've changed a whole lot. In 2018, nobody knew what was about to happen. In 2020, we did scrap the cap, and we knew that was going to happen, didn't we? But in 2020, the world literally stopped. We haven't seen in our lifetimes such a dramatic change. I don't think I need to go into that. You know it. The community knows it. This government, the same government, wearing, as has been referred to earlier, now different clothes, different faces, the same government, wants us to forget it. But we're not having any of that, are we? No! Because we remember what you did. That's the Premier's office, just up there, by the way. You pushed us to do things that only a few years ago would have been unimaginable. We were scared. Some of us got sick. Some of us won't return to work as a result of that sickness. But we turned up day after day. We trusted you and your judgment. In 2021, when they opened the borders, when he opened the borders, he said we were prepared. But we weren't, were we? But it was us that pushed ahead. We worked in oppressive PPE, day in, day out. Our workloads became unbearable. But you, Jeremy, went on holidays, didn't you? And the consequences. We see more and more skilled workers leaving. We've heard that a number of times today. We can't recruit in my sector, in health and human services. Negotiators tell us across the table, with serious looks on their faces, that we don't have a recruitment and retention problem. Well, tell that to child safety workers. Tell that to the physios in the THS in the south that are running 30 FTE down as we speak. those people that are waiting for cancer services on the northwest coast, that they're going to have to wait longer because we can't recruit radiation therapists for love or money into this state. Ambos, paramedics, communication staff, nurses, you name it, it doesn't matter where you go, we all have the same problem, don't we? See, we're all pretty unhappy, aren't we? You see, the thing is that if your job's miserable and your workplace is miserable, if your boss is miserable, guess what? The chances are that you're likely to be miserable too. And why? We know why. This is why many of you have left. It's not our fault. It's a miserable and miserly government. That's at fault here, not us. So we've got hospital staff, housing workers, job safety workers, allied health nurses and paramedics, and everyone else, cleaners, orderlies, everyone here today, all walking off the job to send a very clear message. It's not good enough. And if you had any doubt about how serious we are, Mr. Premier, we've got paramedics here taking unprecedented action. They are right now, at this moment, you look behind you, you'll see the ambulances parked along the forecourt, refusing to respond to non-priority cases, to be with you all. Because we all know the system is broken. And we refuse to let it break us. And our community. Jeremy, you need to fix our conditions. You need to fix our wages. That's how you start to fix our services. Jeremy and his government, you know Michael and all them, they say they can't afford our claims. Premier, you can't afford not to. But what I see today tells me something. Sends me a message far stronger than the weekly update that we get from the head of the state service. That is that we all want change. And we all want to be part of that change. A step towards redressing the imbalance that we've seen in our workplaces for well over a decade. A step towards fairness. For what is right, not just what is affordable. A step towards fixing our public services. A message for this government, to Jeremy Rockcliffe. If you think that today is the last shot in our locker, think again. This, Premier, is a shot across your bow. No one wants more industrial action. Nobody more than us. But we won't be walked over. You owe us. Over the past 2 years, we're the only ones that have made you look good. Today, we resolve to fight on, and we will. Don't underestimate us, Jeremy Rockcliffe. We are union, and we are strong.
When health services are under attack, what do we do? When school staff are under attack, what do think we're left without certainty of your position and the position of your members. I would now like to invite our final speaker, Karina, who is a child safety officer and a proud CPS employer. Thank you. All these four groups are good for hats too now, aren't they? Yeah. Thank you, Karina.
Hi everyone, this is an overwhelming applause. I don't know how I get roped into doing these things, but I think it's really important that child safety officers are represented here. So my name is Karina. So I'm a child safety officer in case management. Ultimately, our role at child safety is to work with families and communities to keep children safe, and where possible to support children to remain in the care of their families. The clients that we work with are the most vulnerable children in our communities. They're the children that come from homes where there's family violence, there's drug use, homelessness, poverty, or mental health. These are the children who have been neglected, physically abused, sexually abused. Without us, children are left in life-threatening situations. Without adequate staffing to allocate a child safety officer to every child, we will see a rise in the deaths of infants and children. We will see a rise in the suicide rates of young people. Right now, staff are walking out the door faster than we can recruit them. We've had entire teams of child safety officers dissolved due to lack of staff. We have hundreds of children who do not have a child safety officer allocated to them. They are not being actively assessed or case managed. We're forced to ask ourselves on a daily basis, is this a life or death situation, to prioritise our workload, because our workload is endless, and if it's not an emergency, that child is pushed down to the bottom of the pile. This means that the therapeutic work that we should be doing isn't happening. There isn't a child safety officer here who hasn't worked unpaid overtime. Our caseloads are extreme. We have sleepless nights, nightmares, endless headaches because of the stress that we're under, because we go home at the end of the day knowing that this child is not safe, but we don't have a safe place for them to go. What is being asked of us is an impossible job. We are being saturated in trauma content on a daily basis, and this has an impact on our own well-being. We are only human. We take this on. We stay in this job because we care, because we pour our hearts and souls into working with our children and families. We know that they deserve to have experienced workers to support them. That's the least that we can do. But when we are being asked to work in a way that compromises our values and places children at further risk, you are not making it easy for us to stay. What we need to see is adequate staffing of frontline staff. We need to allocate a child safety worker to every child that walks through our doors. We need the conditions to recruit new staff and retain our experienced workers who are amazing. To do this, we need pay parity to non-government organisations who offer more money, less responsibility, company cards, salary packaging. We need trauma-safe workplaces, trauma support, additional leave, so that we can have the time and support to process what we are exposed to on a daily basis. Without these things, staff will continue to walk out the door, and children will continue to be placed at further risk by our government. I ask the Premier to act, and act to now, you have done enough listening. You know what the issues are. They have been the same issues for a long time now, and we are saying them loud and clear. I also want to remind the Premier that yesterday he apologised for institutional sexual abuse for children in out-of-home care. In 10 years from now, he will be apologising again.
I don't know about all of you, but almost everyone who's spoken up here today has made me have a little tear in my eye. We all deserve better than this. You know, the people that we care for, look after and educate deserve better than this. But you as workers, as humans, as Tasmanians, you all deserve better than this too. And I want to give a special shout out to Marissa, to Freya, to Karina and to Robin as our speakers. It takes guts to get up. I get nervous in front of a big crowd like this, and I've been doing it for a while. So Tim, you're good too, Tim. But it does take guts, and it's going to take guts to keep going with this fight, and I think that's what we're going to do, yeah? Now, it wouldn't be a good union meeting without emotion, friends, would it? We'd all be walking away feeling like something was left not done right. So we are asking our members to pass motions at these stop work meetings across the state, and I'll read it out to you. Now, hopefully you've got, or some of you have got boarding passes that I'm going to ask you to hold up when you vote, and hold your hands up high for a while. It'll look good for a photo. Some of you won't have, because frankly there's more people here than we expected, which is always a good problem to have. So the motion is this. This meeting condemns the contempt the Rockcliffe government has shown to its own workforce in its handling of public sector bargaining. There is a deepening crisis across our public service. We cannot attract and retain workers if there are no solutions to staffing and all workers are being offered is a real wage cut. This meeting calls on the Premier to personally intervene and resolve this dispute. Workers will not be forced into accepting inferior deals with threats of no back pay. And should the Premier not respond to this request, then we will escalate our campaign until he acts. All those in favour, raise your hands. All those in favour, say aye. All those in favour, say aye. All those against? Oh, you'd be brave, wouldn't you? Okay. I declare that carried unanimously. I think we've made it stand in the sun for long enough. I would like to thank everyone that came here and supported all of us. I would like to thank the unions who are not in the public sector, who are around the traps. Give them a round of applause too. I'd like to thank our future unionists, the kids in the audience who have come to support their parents. I would like to thank the public sector workers who have taken strike action many times before, and I would like to thank the workers who joined their union today and for whom the first time